The Grand Theft Auto remasters are here, and while a lot of us are going back to them, this is the first time a lot of you are going to play these games. Let me tell you, there's plenty that isn't obvious. And to be fair, these games came out a long time ago, and some of us could use a refresher. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, 20 things the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition doesn't tell you. Starting off with number 20, there are cheats. Now, you may or may not know about this, but one of the most fun things these old games have is just turning on cheats and going nuts. There's a ton of weird effects and things you can do, on top of the more standard things like unlocking all weapons, spawning a powerful vehicle, giving yourself unlimited money, whatever. Like, all the classic codes still work exactly the same as they did back in the day. If you're not used to doing them, they can be a little difficult to input. Like on consoles, you have to key in those button presses surprisingly fast, so it may take a little practice to get them right. But yeah, they're all here, and you can use them whenever you want for all 3 games in the trilogy. Just like in the original games, using cheats and then saving can possibly break your game, so beware. A lot of the cheats in these games can't be turned off, and having certain ones on will make trying to finish the game nearly impossible. They also disable achievements when active, so any save game that has any cheats applied to it will never be able to get any achievements. Even if you don't care about achievements, many of these cheats can possibly, like I said, break your game, so be careful with them is all I'm saying. At number 19, we're going to talk about GTA 3 for a few points. There's some good stuff you can get right from the start in Portland on the first island. Like, the better cars and weapons don't start showing off until you get off the first island in GTA 3, but there are a few decent things you can get right from the start if you know where to look. Probably the best secret on the island is hidden behind Cipriani's restaurant up in St. Mark's. Drive into the alley beside the building and you'll find this health pickup. Then you go to this narrow space between the buildings and fall down to find an AK-47 and some body armor. You can't normally buy these things until you unlock Staunton Island, so getting access to a decent weapon and some armor can make some things a lot easier for these first few missions. Most of the cars around this first island are pretty crappy except for one of them. There's a Banshee that always spawns at the car dealership in Harwood, which is in the northern part of the island. You just smash your way in the showroom and take it. Like I said, most of the cars in Portland suck, so having something decent early on can actually be really helpful. At number 18, you're stuck on one island at first, so you have to progress further through the game to unlock the other ones. One annoying part of these early 3D GTA games is that they lock off parts of the city until you get further. A good 2/3 of Liberty City is locked off until you complete certain missions to unlock them. Without spoilers, I'll just say what missions you have to complete to unlock the first island. Last Requests is the final mission for the Leone crime family, and completing it unlocks Staunton Island. To freely travel to the final island, Shoreside Vale, you have to finish the mission at Drop in the Ocean, which is the 3rd mission you do for Donald Lowe. So if you want to be able to go everywhere in the game, you got to do these missions before you can. At number 17, beware angering the gangs. If there's anything you should know about GTA 3, it's probably this. At certain points in the story, gangs will turn on you. That means that these guys will start shooting the second they see you on their turf. Probably the biggest gang to turn on you is the Leone family, the mob. They turn on you after you complete the mission Sayonara Salvatore, which is the first mission you get from Asuka Kasen, who is one of the Yakuza bosses. Now, the Yakuza will turn on you after completing either the pickup or trial by fire. What's worse is that any of the missions you still had left to do for the Yakuza become unavailable after they turn on you, so make sure to finish up what you have left before doing either of these 2 missions. These 2 are the big ones. A few other gangs get hostile as well, but these are definitely the worst. At number 16, complete any ambulance or firefighter missions before the gangs want to kill you. There's a number of little side jobs that you can play to earn some extra cash in GTA 3, which can be simply gone through by entering the correct vehicle. Like getting a taxi lets you pick up and drop off passengers, driving a paramedic truck lets you pick up injured people, take them to the hospital, stuff like that. Now remember I said you gotta clean up some of the missions before you do those missions where gangs turn on you. It might be a good idea to do some of the jobs like taxi driver, paramedic, firefighter, police missions before all the gangs become angry at you as well. Because these side jobs can actually unlock some pretty great rewards like health pickups and wanted level lowering pickups at your hideout. So doing them can make things a lot easier for you. Like once half the city wants you dead, it becomes a lot harder. So if you're gonna do them earlier. The way GTA 3 progresses makes it much harder if you wait. At number 15, hookers can heal you past 100 health. The infamous, controversial GTA prostitutes got their start in Grand Theft Auto 3, even if actually using them is kind of confusing. It probably seems like a waste of time, but they can actually heal you up to a maximum of 125 hit points. To pick one up, just drive up to them in a non-special vehicle. Stuff like ambulances, taxis, or police cars will not work. Keep that in mind. And just wait for them. They get in the car and yeah. Most people online say you need to drive to a secluded area, but apparently any location that quote-unquote kicks up dust will do. Stop the car will start shaking to, indicate the festivities have commenced. Although if you actually look at the car, everybody's just sitting in it like normal, because there aren't animations. But yeah, that's 125 hit points for you if you're looking for a way to do that. At number 14, you get money just for destroying cars. In a lot of ways, Grand Theft Auto 3 really feels like the 3D version of the original top-down GTA games. Because one feature that's a definite holdover from those more arcade-style games is that just bumping into any car earns you money. Destroying cars gets you even more, so they're actually rewarding you for going on a rampage in this game. It's basically free money. And number 13 is a quick rampage tip. Anytime you find a rampage mission that requires destroying a certain number of cars, it can be really annoying. Like, there's so many times where the mission timer just runs out because you couldn't find any cars around. To make it a lot easier to pull off, just get a 2-star wanted level before starting a rampage mission. So police cars will just continuously spawn, and they count towards the rampage total. So it makes the whole thing way easier. At number 12, just letting you know, we're going to talk about Vice City for a few points now, but there's some really useful stuff near the Ocean View Hotel in Vice City. Now, this game starts off in the Ocean View Hotel with basically nothing. There are a few good pickups around for anyone who wants to just turn the game on and start shooting stuff, if that's how you play these games anyways. I can't imagine anyone doing that, though. There's an Uzi behind the pay and spray on Ocean Beach, which is actually really easy to get to and incredibly useful. There's also some body armor you can find in the parking lot nearby. Same location at the top of the stairs. Requires a little walking, but pretty easy to find. And it's a spot you will pass by a lot early in the game. So save yourself some money and just grab the armor here instead of dropping $500 at ammunition. At number 11, do the Malibu Club property missions first. After finishing the mission shakedown, you can finally start buying up properties around Vice City, and for most people, the first one you should get is the Malibu Club. It's pretty expensive at $120,000, but it unlocks some really cool missions and is required to unlock maybe the best asset in the whole game. Plus, once you complete the 3 missions for the place, you'll start to earn $10,000 a day, which will easily get you back the money you paid on the place and then some quick. Outside of getting you a lot of money, you have to go through the Malibu Club missions before you can unlock Phil's place, where you can get maybe the best weapons in the whole game, and having access to these weapons can make things a lot easier in the long run, so it's worth it to unlock these things as soon as possible. At number 10, the Vigilante job can increase your armor. Vigilante missions work pretty much the same in all 3 games in the trilogy. It's basically an endless mode that gets harder and harder as you kill criminals, but there's a really good reward if you manage to get to level 12 in Vice City. What happens is it increases your maximum armor to 150, but only if you get to level 12, which is easier said than done. Most people suggest it's only really possible with a tank or attack helicopter, which are both vehicles that can be difficult to get normally. An FBI vehicle is also apparently pretty good for getting a level 12, but only if you're able to pay and spray once in a while and remove unwanted stars. Yeah, the police eventually start chasing you, even if you're a vigilante with an FBI vehicle. I guess they get wise. Of course, the easiest option here is to just cheat in a tank. Then you'll be able to get to vigilante level 12 in no time. In this one case, I don't think anyone would blame you, because having 150 armor is an awesome reward, but actually getting it can be a huge pain. At number 9, you can deliver pizza to increase your max health. It's a new side job for Vice City, and it's not quite as fun as Vigilante, but the reward for getting to level 10 is really good. The Pizza Boy mission can actually increase your max health. There's a few tricks to make the whole process a little easier, at least. For one thing, it's not a bad idea to throw away all your pizzas before returning to get more. That way you can max out the amount of pizzas you can carry. You also don't have to wait at the window until the blips appear on your map. You can just stop for a second and then start moving again, and the checkpoints will eventually appear, so you can save yourself a little time. Time stops when you check your map as well, so plan out your route before heading out. It's another way you can save a lot of time. Having 150 health is absolutely worth getting, even if actually completing these missions and getting level 10 can be really annoying to do. At number 8, you should find at least some of the hidden packages. The main collectible in the trilogy is the hidden package. They're usually tucked away in some out-of-the-way spot, and finding them gets you something in terms of cash, usually. I rarely bother with getting these things, but in Vice City, it's definitely worth getting them. Because for every 10 you collect, you get a new pickup that spawns at your main save houses, and the reward you get for the first 10 is by far the best. Body armor. Yeah, just finding 10 of these things and you get free body armor every time you go back to one of your safe houses to save. Body armor is obviously essential in the GTA 3 trilogy, so having free access to it is incredibly useful. Just check out a map online to hunt down 10 packages. They're not too hard to find if you know where to look, and it's very worthwhile. At number 7, how to actually finish the game. A weird thing about Vice City is that it never actually tells you what to do to trigger the final missions, which can be a little confusing. Basically, what you have to do is to buy up 6 properties and complete all the missions associated with them. For some reason, Phil's place doesn't count, but any other place does. And this is really important. You have to buy the Vice City printworks. Like, it's required to unlock the final mission. So don't ignore the printworks. It's the place where the penultimate mission will appear once all the requirements have been met. It's kind of weird that the game doesn't make it very clear, but that's what it is. That's what you have to do. At number 6, we're going to switch over to GTA San Andreas here for the final stretch. But in San Andreas, you may need a little explanation as to how eating and working out works. It is one of the coolest features in San Andreas to be able to change how CJ looks. He starts off skinny, but you control what he looks like depending on his diet and how much he works out. In general, working out is better for you. When he's in better shape, CJ has more health, more stamina, more sex appeal, which helps dating. And working out isn't hard. You just go to the gym, you do the mini games until the game doesn't let you do them anymore. You bulk up in no time. It's actually surprisingly easy and fast to do. Now, it's important that CJ eats even if you don't want to make him fat, because if his fat level hits 0, then he starts to lose muscle when he gets hungry instead. How the meals actually work is that meals from restaurants add either 0, 1, 2, or 3% fat to CJ depending on how big they are. So stuff like salads fill CJ's hunger meter, but they don't add any fat. Well, a huge meal will both fill him up and add to his fat rating. It takes a lot of eating to actually make CJ fat, but it's also possible to make him throw up if you eat too many meals in a row. So if you want the strongest CJ, you gotta build up at least a little fat on him, so when he inevitably gets hungry, you're not gonna start losing muscle mass, because that can be really annoying. And number 5 is some good starting stuff you can find, the San Andreas edition. Every game in the GTA 3 trilogy hides some pretty decent stuff right near the start of the game, but San Andreas is probably the best about it. There's a lot of weapons to find right around Grove Street, just outside CJ's house. You can find a pistol right away in the backyard of the Brown house on the corner. It's the one next to Sweet's house. There's a Tech 9 on top of Sweet's house, which is not that hard to get at. There's also a micro Uzi under the bridge behind Carl's house and some body armor under the bridge northeast of Carl's house. All this stuff is just seconds away. It's kind of ridiculous how many weapons are just lying around over here. The micro Uzi and body armor are especially useful. If you're gonna get anything, get those. San Andreas isn't a game that messes around. Even with all the new features that can make the game a lot easier to play with the definitive edition, this game can still mess you up when it wants to, so even the odds a little bit by finding some of this stuff. At number 4, burglary is easy to do and gets you great rewards. The cool thing you can do whenever you want in San Andreas is this burglary minigame. The cash you get from stealing is pretty decent, but the real thing you'll want is the reward for taking about 25 items or $10,000 worth of stuff. Thankfully, the game doesn't expect you to do it in one run, and as long as you eventually steal 25 things, you will be good. The reward is infinite sprinting, cycling, and swimming, which is incredibly useful. The truck you need to start this mission is found at a specific spot in each city. The one in Los Santos can be found between some blue apartments near CJ's house. To actually start the mission, it has to be night, at least 2000, and it automatically ends at 0600. After starting the mission, just look for any house with a marker on the front door. Those are the ones you can steal from. How these things work is you're actually supposed to sneak in a house and take stuff. If you make noise and alert the homeowner, you've got 10 seconds to get out before they call the police. That means the easiest thing to do is to go in slow, find something valuable, take it, and sprint out out. So yeah, stealing doesn't get you the most cash compared to certain other methods, but infinite stamina is really good and worth getting as soon as you can. And number 3, the firefighter mission is useful and incredibly easy to do. Unlike other games in the trilogy, the firefighter job in San Andreas gets you something useful. You get to level 12 by putting out fires with a fire truck, and you become completely immune to fire damage. Now, fire can be a very annoying hazard in this game, so just not having to worry about it is really good. What's even better is the firefighter job can be completed in literal minutes if you pick the right place to start it. Easiest place to start, at least according to every source I've found online, is right at the start of the game, in the Grove Street cul-de-sac. Just drive the fire truck there, start the side job, and put out any fires you see. Because the neighborhood is so dense, it makes getting around and putting out fires really a breeze. Just keep doing it and you get to level 12 and you're totally immune to fire. Hardest part is just finding a fire truck. The ones with ladders don't work, so you need to steal one with a water cannon on the back. At number 2, killing crack dealers is free money. Around the slums of Los Santos, you can find a lot of drug dealers around, and if you kill them, you get an easy $2,000. They may be hard to identify at first, but they're always the same 4 models, and they appear frequently in the lower class neighborhoods of the city. And taking a few of these guys out is a great way to earn some quick cash, especially if you're pretty early in the game. Apparently, according to the GTA wiki, these guys start appearing a lot more after the mission Doberman. Killing these guys is a great way to load up on cash, like I said, fairly early in the game. If you want to get really rich, you'll want to build up a decent amount of cash you can blow it on the track. And finally, number 1, let's talk about the track. The easiest way to make a lot of money fast in San Andreas without cheating is to find one of these betting places called the Inside Track. Inside you find machines that let you put money on one of 5 possible horses, and if the horse you choose wins, you'll earn the payout depending on the odds on the horse. It's a pretty straightforward system, which means it's easy to game. Just save first, put all your money down on one horse and see what happens. If you lose, just load your save and try again. General consensus seems to be to put money on the horse with the lowest odds to win because you'll get the biggest payout, and while it can take a while for it to pay out, just one win can be absolutely huge, especially if you're betting on a horse with 10-1 odds or something like that. If you manage to unlock the Jefferson safe house, you'll be able to restart pretty close to the Inside Track under the Mulholland intersection in downtown Los Santos. The best thing you can do is to just stick to one horse and keep reloading until it wins, if only for consistency's sake. If you just keep at it, you can quickly turn the little bit of cash you start out with into millions of dollars. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is of course a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero. We'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.